Okay, I hope you can see my slides. Okay, let me just give you an overall before we start today. Okay, so what we are going to look in today is a data analysis overview and descriptive analysis. Okay, so what we are going to talk about today is mostly on descriptive analysis. Tetapi the few first slides yang kita akan start, we are going to highlight about data analysis overview. Meaning to say, secara keseluruhan lah, what are we going to look at, right? So we are also going to look at some of these, the meaning, the definition of statistical analysis. Why do you need it? Ini yang tadi saya bagi tu, teaser tu, statistical package tu apa, alright? And then we go into the key concept of descriptive analysis lah. Okay, so kalau kita cakap pasal descriptive analysis, we have to talk about inferential juga. Then only it makes sense to fahamkan, untuk memahami, to understand about descriptive, you need to talk about inferential. So when you start talking about inferential, you need to talk about variable and data. So that is all together inside descriptive analysis. All right. So we will go on and talk about inferential sedikit, and we will talk about some examples, and then we are going to talk about different descriptive, some examples. So when you talk about descriptive, you need to understand the population and sample, and you also need to understand about your data. All right, types of data, classification of variables, categorical, continuous. And what are the steps or methods you can use untuk to analyze your descriptive statistics. Okay, so towards the end of the slides, these are the methods involved for you to do to do apa namanya descriptive analysis. Okay, these are some of the methods available. All right, so let's start. When you say statistical analysis, you are talking about the collection, analysis, and interpretation of data to solve a problem. So when we highlight solving the problem, this is where your research questions come in. So based on your research questions, you need to figure out how you are going to solve this problem. Okay, because your research question is based on a genuine problem yang betul, based on your readings, based on your finding, based on your observation. You say that, you claim that there is a problem in, example, building structure. Okay, so based on your reading, you dah baca journal, you dah baca proceeding papers, you dah baca articles, you find that there is a problem on building structure. Okay, so now how are you going to solve this problem? Or how are you going to recommend some solutions? Ingat, kita bukan nak solve the problem. Okay? Yes, we are proposing the solution, but that does not mean the problem will be solved. Okay? Ini bukan macam sains. Kalau sains, yes, inilah masalah kita. Masalahnya ialah ini, dan kita akan buat satu ubat untuk menghilangkan masalahnya. But in terms of your research, you are going to say that this can be the solution for this problem. Okay, so how are you going to solve this problem? How are you going to prove that you can solve this problem? So you are going to collect some data, you're going to do some survey, you're going to analyze this, and you're going to interpret this. In doing so, you can solve the problem. You can help solve the problem. Okay, so you need this data, you need statistical analysis to describe and understand variability. How the data is different from one another. Macam mana collection data di peringkat ini berbeza dengan peringkat lain? What is, okay, how do you describe the variability? And you need to make sense of the data. Okay, you need to make sense of the data. Example, contohnya kita ambil age population dalam FSPU. Okay, so you get the number, or you get the age of people inside FSPU. Katakan ada 50 orang staff. Okay, 50 orang staff. So you get the age of everyone. 30, 53, so and so sampai 30-50 orang. Okay, so now you have semua orang punya age ni. So what does that mean? So you need to make sense of the data. Okay, so you use your statistical analysis to make sense of the data. Yang awak ada sekarang dalam paper ialah age saja. You have, okay, Elma is 29, Anas is 19, Zira is 30, ni 31, so and so. But it does not make sense. Okay, but kalau you buat some statistical analysis, you can get the average, you can get the median, you boleh interpret the data. Alright, but the data itself does not make sense, so you use some statistical analysis to make sense of the data. Right, and may range from simple frequency table to very complex multivariate analysis such as state space modeling for time series. Okay, so dalam statistical analysis you can get as simple as frequency table. Okay, frequency table yang normal table lah, jumlah orang yang dalam kategori 30 hingga 53, 30 hingga 35 berapa ramai. Okay, frequency table, that's very simple. Or you can go into more detail over a period of time. Okay, contohnya macam student population. Okay, student population between 90 to 95, jumlah student di UiTM Perak ialah 1,000 orang. 95 to year 2000, 5,000 orang. Okay, so you buat satu time series. So you can also do that dalam statistical analysis. Why do you need statistics? Okay, ini saja letaklah. Virtually all real problem exhibit variability in which is the result of changes in the underlying condition. In most applications, it is not possible to study the whole population. The element of uncertainty probability is thus present. What does this mean? Population itu apa? Population itu ialah secara keseluruhan. It is not possible. Contohnya, you want to study staff dalam FSPU, but you cannot get the whole population sebab population itu sangat besar. Or you want to study semua penduduk di Seri Iskandar, population itu sangat besar. Okay, so you get, sebab bila you kata population means everyone dalam taman tu. Okay, dalam taman sedanglah, everyone dalam daerah tu, daripada makcik tua sampai ke baby, that is the population. And based on this population akan ada some uncertainty. Dia ni betul ke duduk taman ni, or maybe he just came to visit, so there's some uncertainty kat situ. That is why we only take sample daripada population tersebut. Okay, so descriptive and inferential statistics provide evidence. Okay, these are the evidence to support an opinion or judgment. This is where statistics come in. All right, so this is a very important slide. I want you to look into this and keep in your mind bila you start buat your research method. Sorry, you start buat your chapter 3. Okay, so this is an overall diagram for strategy for data analysis. So what do you want to do? Okay, so there are two methods generally dalam statistik untuk data analysis. Satu disebut sebagai qualitative and quantitative. Okay, quantitative yang kita akan cover dalam subjek kita. Normally we talk about numbers. Okay, when we doing numbers, then we talk about quantitative. Qualitative kita banyak berdasarkan survey, interview. We are looking at those kind of data. Okay, those kind of data. And then, so if you want to do association, so we use correlation. Okay, yang ni kita akan buat nantilah. Alright, hypothesis and testing modeling. So we can also do it. If you are doing it quantitatively, kita buat parametric and non-parametric. So parametric and non-parametric is a very interesting term, dan I think you are going to cover that with Prof dalam minggu yang akan datang. But secara in an overall perspective, parametric and non-parametric, maksudnya parametric method bermaksud data yang kita ambil, kalau data itu nominal, kalau data itu normally distributed, then we can go for parametric. Apakah, what does it mean by normally distributed? So in your bell-shaped graph, bell-shape tahu kan? Bell, macam kita buat bell-shaped graph macam ni. Okay, bell-shaped graph. Okay, data yang kita ambil semuanya berada dalam lingkungan ini. That means kalau kita ambil age population dalam FSPU Sri Iskandar, age population tu bukannya skew ke kanan atau skew ke kiri. That means it's not over on this side, over on this side. Maksudnya ada orang 30 tahun, ada orang 20 tahun, ada orang 40 tahun, ada orang 50 tahun. So dia dalam kategori normal distribution. Okay, it's not focused on the left or right. Tak ada kita kata macam, oh ramai staff kita yang orang kata 15 above. Ramai staff kita yang 20 ke atas. Okay, so ada 20-an sikit, ada 30-an, 40-an, 50-an. So when we talk about normal distribution, maka dicadangkan kita guna cara parametric methods. So parametric method ada dia punya cara dia lah. Okay. And kalau non-parametric, macam mana pula? Non-parametric, if you're talking about data-data yang tidak berada secara normal. Maksudnya too much to the right. Ramai orang 50s, ramai orang 60s, or ramai orang 30-an. Okay, then we can go to a non-parametric method. Okay, but why is this method dalam kategori kuantitatif? Okay, because when we do qualitative study, normally we do interviews. Normally these are the main ways of getting your data. So when we do interviews you cannot get a normal set of distribution. So when you don't get a normal set of distribution, maka dicadangkan kita guna non-parametric method. Tetapi let's say you do a survey and you also get data. Bila you kaji balik, let's say you want to do a survey on budak-budak sekolah di kawasan Sri Iskandar. Budak-budak sekolah jenis macam mana? Let's say budak-budak sekolah menengah. Okay, so you do a survey on them lah. You nak buat survey mungkin pasal PDPR. Okay, mungkin you nak buat survey pasal PDPR on budak-budak sekolah menengah di kawasan Sri Iskandar. Bermula daripada sekolah agama punya area tu sampai ke area Bandar Universiti. So you want to find out what are their concerns or what are their, adakah PDPR ni bagus untuk mereka. Okay, so you do a study on them, the survey. Bagilah survey, diorang jawab. Okay, so now it's time for you to analyze. Bila you analyze, you dapati bahawa data itu tidak normal. Kenapa pula? Why is it not normal? Based on your data, you find out that student-student sekolah menengah di Sri Iskandar, kebanyakan dia form 2, form 1. Okay, mungkin ada dalam 10% saja yang form 4, form 5. So your data is not normal distribution. Dia lebih kepada sebelah kiri atau mungkin sebelah kanan. So when your data falls into a non-normal distribution, maka dicadangkan kita guna non-parametric method. Walaupun non-parametric method itu berada dalam qualitative, but it's also possible to come here as well. Okay, so most importantly for parametric and non-parametric, argument dia ialah if your data is not normally distributed, maka dicadangkan you guna non-parametric methods. Okay, if your data is normally distributed, that means you have everything. Okay, you ada purata yang bagus, ada beberapa orang form 1, form 2, form 3, form 4, form 5. Okay, everything is fine. Daripada let's say you dapat dalam 500 student, everything is divided well, then dicadangkan you guna parametric method. Okay, if you have any questions, please stop me along the way, and kalau saya boleh jawab masa tu, saya akan jawab. Kalau tak, I will bring it to the end of the lecture baru kita jawab. So these are some of the statistical softwares yang available. Kita katakan package, okay, which are available in the market. Daripada sekecil-kecil Excel sampai Python, sampai Fortran, sampai Java, C++, MATLAB, Minilab, S+, macam-macam lagi lah. Ini yang saya boleh ambil lah. Okay, ada banyak lagi. So these are the statistical packages yang available. Okay, so you can use any one of them if it's related to your study. Okay, and you pandai guna lah. Okay, but always remember, statistical package are not magic. Okay, as they do not check the underlying assumptions of the method chosen and the validity. Always remember last point here. Garbage in, garbage out. Any statistical software package yang you guna, bila you run application tu, you akan dapat jawapan. Okay, you will get an answer. But if whether the answer is right or wrong, now that's a question mark. That is why we say garbage in, garbage out. Whatever you put dalam any statistical package, you will get an answer. SPSS ke apa ke, you put in, you akan dapat jawapan dia. But whether it's right or wrong, now that's a question. So that is why you need to be very certain on the on the methods you use in order to get that particular answer. What method are you using? Okay, sebab all the statistical package can do most of the methods. So most importantly, you understand what method you are using, and based on that method, you must see the answer whether it makes sense or not. And there is no interpretation from this statistical package. Sebab you akan dapat jawapan dalam bentuk numbers. So you have to interpret this answer. Okay, you have to interpret this answer and see whether it makes sense. Adakah number yang you dapat make sense? Okay, because number yang you dapat, it's a number by itself. But based on your readings and your prediction and your your argument, you have to make sense of this data. Okay, you have to make sense. All right. Do not correct or detect any data deficiency. Kalau data itu salah ke apa ke, this package does not know. Dia akan terima juga. Okay. So remember, it is not statistical package is not magic. Whatever you put inside, you get the answer juga. Alright, so next let's go into descriptive analysis or descriptive statistics. So we are going to cover what is it, what is differential, what is variable, what is data. Okay, data and variable saya akan interlap one another so we can understand a bit more detail. What is descriptive? Information is collected without changing the environment. It is used to obtain information concerning the current status with the phenomenon, what exists with respect to variables or condition in a situation. Instance of a road accident. Presence, trend, belief, public mind, viewpoint. These are all descriptive analysis. So deals with describing a phenomenon, that how we think something is. It attempts to examine the situation in order to describe the norm. Okay. So when we talk about descriptive analysis, we are trying to describe sahaja. We are not trying to prove anything. We are just trying to describe that this is what exists. Describe what exists and try to pave the ground for new fact finding. It includes the gathering of data related to products, people, individual, event, blah, 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 and situation, and then organize, tabulate, display, and describe the outcome. So the question is today, we want to find out keberkesanan or the use or how well is PDPR among secondary school kids in Seri Iskandar. Okay, so we start doing a survey. In the first part of the survey, we want to describe them. We want to tell the readers, tell the people who are reading this project, we want to tell them, so these are my participants. We want to describe them. There are 500 participants. Most of them are from Form 1, Form 2, Form 3. Their age group is this. Their family income is banyak ni. Okay, these are the. We just want to describe saja. Okay. So in descriptive analysis, we want to highlight, this is it. This is the current situation we're dealing with. We're dealing with 500 students. Their family income is banyak ni, their age is banyak ni, and they are form 1 berapa orang, form 2 orang, so on so on. We are just going to describe sahaja. We're not going to do anything else. Okay? We're just going to describe them according to, maybe kalau kita nak organize, maybe according to B40 ke, T20 ke, M20 ke, all those things. Tetapi we are not going to do any correlation ke, kita takkan sebut apa-apa. Kita just nak describe sahaja. Okay? So why do we use this? Okay? We use descriptive analysis to get information so that we can do future research. Okay, future research. All right. So the topic today is PDPR on secondary school kids. Okay, in Sri Iskandar. Okay, so this is the topic for today. All right. So we do a descriptive analysis. How do we do a descriptive analysis? Kita bagi survey. Okay, kita bagi survey. Alright. Kita bagi survey daripada sekolah, daripada satu mana, satu Sri Iskandar lah. So we get 500 response. Okay. Alright. So daripada 500 response ni kita dapat, okay lah, kita dapat semua lah. Alright. And then we find out that rupanya what we thought, okay, rupanya hanya 200 orang secondary school kids sahaja yang betul-betul PDPR day and night. Maksud dia yang betul-betul duduk kat rumah buat PDPR. Yang baki 200 dalam 300 tu mungkin diorang tak ada PDPR, mungkin style diorang berbeza. Okay, so we want to describe saja. So based on this, we can take it to the next one. We can go to the future research. Okay, we can do future research. We can carry out future programs with that. Okay, so ingat, for descriptive research, okay, the main objective is to investigate the background, the problem dulu. Okay, we are not trying to solve anything. We just want to find out if this is present. Adakah student in secondary school ada di sini juga? Okay, we need to find out. Okay, it is used in multiple ways by different organizations, especially when getting the required information about their target audience. Okay, this is also very important. Normally, big companies, they will do this. Okay, let's say Celcom, dia nak bagi free dongle. Okay, yang dongle ni ada dalam 30 meg dalam tu kepada kawasan Sri Iskandar. So, are they just going to open the table and say, okay, semua datang? No. First, they want to do a descriptive research first. They want to find out, is it worth ke tak untuk buat satu program di sini. So, they can do a survey and then they find out that, rupanya kawasan Sri Iskandar ni ada lebih daripada 500 orang student. Ada lebih daripada 1000 orang student. So, there is something. Oh, kalau macam tu, is better. Kalau Celcom kata, oh, if that's the case, then mungkin kita tambah lagi. Mungkin, oh, ada 1000 orang. Mungkin in future mereka akan kata, okay, bagus juga kalau kita buat satu kecawang kat sini. Because they know there are apa namanya, students involved here. So there is a possibility yang student-student ni akan pakai Celcom. So ada bagusnya. Okay. Sama juga dengan contohnya sekarang macam, I don't know, I mean, ini cerita lain lah. Macam Speedmart kan. I'm really concerned, or I want to really find out macam mana Speedmart ni buka dekat satu-satu kawasan. Anas, di kawasan Sri Iskandar berapa banyak Speedmart yang ada?
Kalau dekat Bandayu ada satu.
Bandayu satu. Sidak satu kan?
Sidak ada satu, yes, betul.
Sidak satu. And then kalau kita bergerak depan lagi,
Taman Gemilang.
Taman Gemilang. No, Taman Gemilang satu, yes.
Teronoh ada satu.
Teronoh ada satu. Satu, ada 4. Maksudnya kalau daripada daripada Sri Iskandar kita bergerak kan, Kalau terlepas Bandayu, Gemilang ada. Kalau terlepas itu, Terengganu ada. So ada banyak. Sorry. Kalau terlepas Syed Iskandar, Bandayu. Kalau terlepas Syed Iskandar, kalau terlepas ada Terengganu. Ada 4. So I want to find out macam mana, how do they anticipate yang speed mark itu akan berkesan, tak akan untung di kawasan itu. So, nampaknya macam speed mark ni everywhere. Pusing sini ada, pusing sana ada, pusing di depan ada, semua ada. So I'm sure they use prinsip descriptive research juga, descriptive analysis. Mungkin dia kata what is the population of the area, spending power kat situ. Okay. Dulu saya pernah tanya Adobe Speedmart lah. Adobe 24 hours ni, Adobe yang DIY ni, how do you determine your location? Dia kata selain daripada dia orang buat study berapa ramai orang penduduk kat situ, the Adobe DIY ni has to make sure kalau boleh hendaklah berada sebelah, depan atau dekat dengan kedai mamak atau 7-Eleven. The reason being is sementara you tunggu dryer you bolehlah pergi ke kedua-dua tempat ini. Okay, so kebanyakan Adobe DIY they will open in these areas. Okay, so this is where descriptive research comes in. So they have done a study and they found out that while you have ample time, what are you going to do? So it's best you go to these two places. Okay, these two places. So this is where descriptive analysis comes in. So when you get the data of descriptive analysis, you can project what to do next. Okay, so this is what SpeedMart is doing. I'm sure this is what they're doing. So kalau you tanya SpeedMart, saya tak tanyalah kan. But kalau di kampung mak saya, di Gombak tu, SpeedMart punya staff are always orang-orang dalam taman tu je. Tak pernah lebih pada orang. Okay, semua yang kerja SpeedMart tu ialah orang-orang dalam taman tu je. Dia punya cuma supplier yang datang dari luar, tapi orang yang kerja situ ialah anak makcik dia, leha, anak ni, anak tu, semua yang kerja situ. So it's all very localized. Okay, so and each I'm not sure how do they do their analysis supaya ini SpeedMart ni akan untung di kawasan sini, dan SpeedMart tu akan untung di sana-sana based on the population juga. Contohnya is very interesting kalau di Bandayu kan. Bandayu ada Tesco yang sangat besar. And juga ada SpeedMart depan. Depan tu saya rasa, depan tu. Ya, betul lah. But I'm not sure how do they do their analysis. Tapi that's a very interesting situation lah. Okay, they have two shopping areas side by side, and doing well. Yes. Ada orang tanya soalan ke?
Saya, Dr. Imran.
Ya. Go ahead. Tanya.
Okay, Dr. Imran, macam when you told the story about the SpeedMart, you were macam curious kan, macam mana dia boleh buka sini, buka sana, macam mana dia buat penempatan, mana nak letak semua. Jadi macam, because macam tu, macam maybe it's out of our curiosity, we want to know dia gunakan analisis apa, kan, macam mana dia boleh tetapkan, okay kat sini okay, akan buka SpeedMart, lagi 2 km akan buka lagi. Macam okay, for my study kan doktor, because I'm doing on campsite kan doktor, then it is also out of curiosity sebenarnya kan, because macam camping ni okay, saya berpandangan that if you provide macam ample facilities, the facilities is good and everything, so more campus akan lagi berada di situ lah. Tapi that is also out of curiosity. Masalahnya doktor sekarang, saya ni masih macam tercari-cari lagi problem statement yang sebenar. Sebab benda tu out of curiosity, tapi nak cari problem statement yang in journal articles, yang ada peer review. So I found some journals yang ada masalah, ada it shows that facilities memang memainkan peranan penting kan, tapi kalau more dekat negara barat ni, they don't really mind if there's a toilet ke tak ada toilet ke, because they don't have to, maybe because they don't have to pray like Muslim people.
Correct.
Tapi kan doktor, itu yang membuatkan saya kadang nak mencari itu the problem statement tu, but I really want to do on camping ni, tapi problem statement tu saya macam tak jumpa sangat sebab dia out of curiosity, bukan berdasarkan sesuatu problem yang sebenar.
Maybe I can help you there. Maybe we can say that because you say facility itu penting. Okay, betul. Facility itu penting.
Ya doktor.
Right? But okay. What daripada apa yang you cakap, you are just saying facility itu penting, tapi it leads to apa? Happiness, it leads to satisfaction, it leads to something. So maybe once you get kenapa you perlukan facility, then you can start devising your problem. Awak kata facility itu penting, betul, facility itu penting. But why do we need that facility? What will happen if we don't have that facility? So you can say something that means saya pergi Aeon sebab Aeon ada ni. Ada H&M, ada Uniqlo, ada this, ada facility lah, ada facility kat situ. But why do I actually go there? Because something. It increases my happiness ke? It increases my something ke? So that is where I see, based on what you say, that is lacking over there. You say facility, betul. Okay, so why do you need this facility so much? What would happen if you don't have that facility? So what will you, kalau macam you kata, kalau dalam company tu, kalau seseorang bekerja dalam company tu and that company does not provide certain macam kita ambil UiTM punya survey tu, happiness index. Okay, so happiness index ialah bermaksud that means you work in a place and you are happy. Macam itulah. But in order, what leads to happiness? Because the management is right, the facilities provided by the management is good, the bilik yang di-provide, the environment is right, which leads to happiness. So now you, Elma kata, facilities needs to be there, betul. Okay, facilities 1, facilities 2, facilities 3, 4, 5. But yang hujung tu is empty kat situ. So kita ada toilet, kita ada bilik semayang, kita ada dewan, so semua tu. But what leads to what? So maybe if you can lead, if you know the yang hujung tu, yang happiness tu, then you can join together. Mungkin you can kata kalau saya di pihak business, I would say if you have all these facilities, business performance akan naik lah. Okay. Okay, there you go. Anas pun kata, maybe you can do a thematic analysis, divide that into keperluan, ya, something you need and something kemahuan, ya, betul juga. Okay. So these are the things that you need, these are the things that you want to have. Alright. So because you have everything, but leads to what? Leads to what? Itu yang tak ada kat situ. So maybe you have to see di dua bahagian kat sini. Tapi speed part tu menarik saya ingin balik di speed part.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Thank you, Anas.
Tapi speed part tu memang pelik tau. Pelik. I always wonder how. Tapi ada juga my friend yang taman saya ni, he's working with one pharmacy company, macam Hovid semua ni. Diorang ni they hop on Speedmart. So diorang akan tengok kat mana Speedmart buka. Di mana Speedmart buka, di situlah mereka akan pergi letak kedai diorang. So that's another way juga. Kalau dulu orang kata kalau di mana ada kedai mamak, di situ ada TV 24 jam. Itulah. And now macam tu. Alright. So it's how like that. Now you can see the pattern. Okay. So balik kepada cerita descriptive analysis. So descriptive analysis is basically just to describe. Just to describe. So based on our class, kita ada 2 men and 4 females. Okay, so itu saja. Alright, so that's to describe. A bit more detail. Okay, the age group. Okay, age group of this, my class is this to this. Okay, itu je. So based on this data yang saya ada 2 lelaki, 4 female, I can suggest, I can do future research. Mungkin I can suggest something. I can do, saya boleh propose benda-benda lain. Okay, so that is to describe sahaja. Okay, so descriptive analysis is basically just to describe your research. Okay, main objective is to describe, does not make prediction. No, we do not make prediction. Does not determine cause and effect. Betul, we do not cause and effect. We just we don't make prediction, but we can suggest some prediction lah. It is often done before an experiment, exploratory or inferential research to know what specific things to manipulate and include in the experiment. Okay, so balik pada cerita PDPR and secondary school kids in Seri Iskandar. Okay, so we found out that based on our study, kita dapati bahawa ada dalam 1,000 orang student yang berada di kawasan Seri Iskandar, and kebanyakan mereka berada di Form 1, ada 30%, Form 2 20%, and selebihnya Form 5 50%. Okay. And daripada sini we found out that budak-budak asrama ada dalam 50%. Okay. Alright. So now we can propose that maybe if we were to give Salcom free data ni, mungkin boleh berjaya sebab ada ramai student kan. Sebab kita yang 50% asrama ni akan balik. So we have about 50% yang akan duduk. So maybe akan berhasil lah kita punya projek nak bagi free longer. Okay. So example of descriptive research, how students spend their time during year-end holiday. 2 year. A description of the smoking habits. Sorry. Of the smoking habits. Okay, of the smoking habits among teenagers. A description of how parents feel about 2021 school year.
Doktor, sorry doktor, tak nampak slide.
Allah Akbar. Sorry. Nampak sekarang?
Belum lagi doktor.
Oh, okay.
Nampak slide daripada glasses doktor je tadi.
Okay, now better.
Okay, nampak.
Okay, alright. Okay. Okay, so these are examples of descriptive research. How students spend their time, smoking habits, how parents feel, do teachers hold favorable attitudes towards using computer. Itu saja. To describe saja. Okay, that's it. There are no cerita you nak find out more than this. No, it's just to describe saja. Okay. Important key points about descriptive research, focusing on answering the how, what, when, where questions rather than why. Investigate phenomenon in their natural setting. Deals with present. Manipulation of variable is not possible. Okay. So what do you mean by manipulation of variable is not possible? Contohnya macam exercise and losing weight. Ini soalan, ini favorite saya lah. Okay, kalau daripada semua kelas saya akan pakai example exercise and losing weight. So exercise and losing weight. Target kita is to lose weight. Itu target semua orang lah. Okay, and there are 3 methods of losing weight. Satunya ialah exercise, satunya puasa, and another one is eating less. Makan kurang. And this will all lead to losing weight. Okay, so when you do descriptive analysis, you just find out how many times in a day you exercise. Itu saja. How many times in a day, in a week, you eat rice. How many times in a month do you puasa? Itu saja. But you cannot manipulate the data. We just can find out, yes, daripada 500 orang, kita dapati bahawa 50 of them or 50% of them puasa every day, every month. Okay, macam tu. 50%, another 20% exercise. Another another 10% eat well. Itu saja. But you cannot do any manipulation of data. Tak boleh manipulate. What is the meaning of manipulation of data? Manipulation of data, kita nak manipulate. That means we want to show that if we exercise more, we will lose weight more. Or kalau kita gabungkan exercise, puasa dengan eating less, we will lose more weight. We want to prove lah. We want to prove di antara ketiga-tiga variable ni, which one is the best, or campuran ketiga-tiga variable ni is the best. That is the meaning of manipulation. But in descriptive research, we cannot do that. We can only highlight berapa lama you exercise sebulan, berapa lama you exercise sehari, berapa lama you exercise seminggu. Itu saja. Okay. Inferential pula. Now we try to infer this. An inferential analysis is deeper and attempts to explain why a phenomenon is the way it is. It provides us with the information to understand the very nature, linking factors of a phenomenon and predict the future of behavior. Takes data from sample and makes the inference. Okay, point number 2. The goal of inferential statistics is to draw conclusion from a sample and to generalize them to population. We need to have confidence that our sample accurately reflects our population. Allahu Akbar. Apakah yang dimaksudkan dengan ini? Okay. Example of a statistical inference. How much does a household spend on house mortgage? Soalan dia ialah, how much do you spend on your house mortgage? Or how much do you pay your house mortgage? Okay. So, population dia ialah population of 10 million house owners. Kalau kita kecilkan kepada Seri Iskandar, katakan orang-orang Seri Iskandar ada dalam 10,000 orang. 10,000 house owners. Okay. Kalau saya nak dapatkan data untuk 10,000 orang, it's impossible. It's impossible lah. Okay. So saya ambil sampel. I take the sample. See, the sample is only maybe I take about 1,000 people. Okay. So daripada sini I can infer soalan tu akan bertukar. Kalau dari soalan population is the average spending on house mortgage 30% of the household income. Bermaksud if your household income is if your household income is 10,000, bermaksud RM3,000 akan dibelanjakan setiap bulan untuk rumah. Okay. Tetapi it's impossible lah kalau kita nak dapatkan data population. So kita ambil sampel dia dalam 1,000 orang, 1,000 house owners, and we change the question, how likely is that the average spending on house mortgage is more than 30%? So if we are able to answer this question, yakni soalan bawah ni, maka we can say that kebanyakan orang akan spend more than 30% of their household income untuk membayar rumah. Okay, so this is where we do inference. Okay, so inference bermaksud kita ambil sampel daripada population. Okay, sampel daripada population. Population student, secondary students di Seri Iskandar ialah 1,000 orang. Population semua. But it's quite impossible kalau kita nak dapatkan semua daripada 1,000 orang. Maka kita buat sampel. Okay? And how to get the sample size, itu ada satu cara lain. Tapi kita boleh dapatkan sampel, and based on the sample itu, we can infer back to the population. Infer back to the population. Descriptive statistics used to describe 90% satisfaction for all customers. Inferential statistics used to generalize about a population based on the sample of data. Okay, 90% of satisfaction of sample of 50 customers. So we assume that 90% of satisfaction, 90% satisfaction of all customers. Okay, 90%. But sometimes susah juga nak dapatkan, nak infer betul-betul. Okay, so you have about, let's say, happiness index, balik pada cerita UiTM happiness index. Katakan UiTM staff di secara keseluruhan lah, mungkin ada dalam 8,000 ke 10,000 orang. Okay, and then you get beberapa cawangan sahaja. You infer beberapa cawangan. Okay, and then you dapatkan, and then you find out secara keseluruhan ada 10,000, but you get a sample. Let's say your sample is about 4,000 people, and based on this 4,000, you get 50% are happy, then you can generalize. Boleh macam tu. Okay, so your sample size should be enough to generalize back to the population. Okay, it should be generalized back to the population. Alright, so dalam gambar ini, this is the population. But daripada sini kita ambil 50 orang saja, and jika 50 orang ini this is the population. Okay, this is population 100, katakan 100. So kita ambil sampel yang ni 50. Daripada 50 ni 90% is satisfied. So when 90% out of this 50 is satisfied, then we can generalize back that 90% out of 100 of the population is satisfied. Okay, 100, 50, 90% are satisfied, then we can say 90% of all the customers are satisfied. Okay, 90% of all the customers are satisfied. We measure the heart rate of each student, Mrs. Green's PhD, PhD class. Okay, so these are descriptive. Okay, so kita describe. So dalam example ni, what they do is Mrs. Green ni adalah seorang cikgu dalam kelas, and dia seorang cikgu yang garang lah. Okay, so they want to show that cikgu ni garang and what happens to her students dalam example ni. So they measure the heart rate of each student dalam kelas dia, berapa beats per minute and berapa standard deviation and so on and so forth, and based on that they find that 95% of them heart rate dia will be banyak ni, walk regularly. Okay, so meaning bila cikgu tu masuk, 95% of them heartbeat dia akan kata laju lah. So nampak sangatlah cikgu ni garang. So those are the this is what the example is talking about. Okay, population consists of all items and elements of interest for a particular decision or investigation. Example, all married staff over the age of 50 in UiTM Perak. Okay, sample, certain number of elements that have been chosen from a population. A list of all married men staff over 30 years old in FSPU in UiTM Perak. Okay, so jika kita dapati bahawa dia 90% here, maka 90% itu kita boleh refer back to the population. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is population is a secara keseluruhan and sample is a small element daripada population tersebut, because it's impossible to get the whole population. So kita ambil satu sampel. So what is the sample size to determine that? So that is a different adalah cara dia lain, ada cara-cara dia, but basically from the sample we can derive the population. Okay, we can say yes. Okay, macam example tadi, daripada population 100 orang, kita ambil 50 orang, and daripada 50 orang ni, jika 90% satisfied, maka we can say in general 90% of the customers are satisfied. Yes, question.
Doktor, saya nak tanya satu soalan. Pasal population ni kan, pasal kita punya sampel ni, katakanlah kita buat satu study, contoh untuk satu negeri, okey? Contoh saya punya, contohnya kita punya fokus, kita kata kita punya topik tu adalah untuk tengok sesuatu untuk dalam negeri Kelantan, contoh gitu kan. Lepas tu kita buat total kuantitatif, kita punya study tu kuantitatif, lepas tu bila kita distribute questionnaire, kita cuma dapat 150 responden saja yang bagi balik kat kita. So kalau macam tu, adakah saya katalah saya nak kena collect data balik ataupun saya nak buat macam mana?
Okay. Okay. Untuk bilangan responden, itu satu study yang lain lah, tapi saya boleh explain kat sini. Your population is orang Kelantan. Betul?
Betul.
Okay. Orang Kelantan ni ramai lah. Okay. So ramai. So it's impossible kalau you nak interview kalau you nak buat survey untuk setiap orang di Kelantan. So you dapat satu sampel. So your sample says sample size. Katakanlah awak nak investigate pegawai kerajaan di Kelantan. Jumlah population pegawai kerajaan di Kelantan katakan ialah 5,000 orang. Okay. So daripada 5,000 orang ni, this is your population, it's impossible, maka you dapatkan satu sampel. Okay, sampel. Alright, so sekarang ni, berapakah jumlah sampel awak? 100, 200, 300. Okay, so your sample size, it should be, okay. Cara nak dapatkan sample size pula berdasarkan your questionnaire. Okay, kalau ada buku statistik, ada beberapa orang pernah cakap dalam buku statistik, kalau jumlah soalan awak katakan 30 dan jawapan dalam soalan-soalan tersebut ialah katakan dalam satu skala 1 is the worst, 5 is the best. So ada kiraan dia, normally they'll say about satu soalan perlu dapatkan 5 responden, 10 responden macam tu. So that does not determine kalau you dapatkan 150 tak bagus. 150 pun dah cukup baik dah. Okay, saya ingat lagi sebab it's difficult. Even kalau saya katakan okay, awak balik Kelantan, awak dapatkan 500 orang pegawai kerajaan. It's difficult. Walaupun sampel mengatakan bahawa you patut dapatkan 500, tapi it's impossible. So kalau you boleh buktikan yang 150 orang responden ini is the best, maksud dia it's fine, boleh, tak ada masalah. Okay, tak perlu orang kata cari data lagi, tak perlu. Kalau 150 orang punya data ini sudah cukup baik, then go ahead juga, tak ada masalah. Sebab untuk mengira sample size ada formula dia, tetapi ia juga berdasarkan jumlah soalan yang awak ada, jumlah soalan dalam survey tu. Sebab ada buku, ada teori yang mengatakan bahawa satu soalan perlukan dalam 10 responden, 8 ke 10 responden, macam itulah kiraan dia tu. Okay, so jangan takut, jangan risau if your respondent is 100 something, tak ada masalah, go ahead saja. Okay, it does not ya, Zira, betul?
Ada lagi satu. Contohnya kan macam contoh doktor tadi berkenaan dengan pegawai kerajaan. So kita tahulah, okay, pegawai kerajaan kita boleh sebutlah. Tapi sekarang kalau kita sebut community. Okay, community contohnya kan kalau Kelantan kan selalu banjir kan.
Ya.
Okay, kalau kita kata untuk soalan itu untuk dedicated untuk orang yang pernah berhadapan dengan banjir. So kalau saya kata orang Kelantan ni maknanya semua orang pernah lah face banjir tu. Okay, maksud dia kalau kita kata keseluruhan betul population kita orang Kelantan, cuma dari segi bilangan yang kita dapat 150 nak dibandingkan dengan populasi orang Kelantan yang ramai yang pernah berhadapan dengan banjir, tu yang jadi kita takut 150 tu tak cukup. Sebab apa? Sebab kita berkata berkenaan dengan komuniti. Okay, mungkinlah saya kena study tengok balik yang
ataupun you boleh ya betul lah. Macam you kata population semua orang Kelantan pernah mengalami banjir. But maybe you can say 150 orang ni datangnya daripada kawasan yang lebih prone pada banjir. Lebih prone pada banjir. Mungkin di Kelantan tu katakanlah ada dalam 20 daerah. Okay, ada 20 daerah. Daripada 20 daerah ni, semua daerah ni pernah mengalami banjir. Tetapi daripada 20 daerah ni mungkin akan ada dalam 5 to 6 daerah yang prone banjir. So you can highlight argument awak ialah 150 orang awak yang dapat ini, mereka-mereka daripada kawasan yang prone banjir. So you can also use the argument juga. Okay. So maksud dia, walaupun your respondent itu sedikit, tetapi ia merangkumi kawasan-kawasan yang prone banjir. Kawasan-kawasan yang selalu banjir. So that itself is a good argument. So ingat, dalam PhD dan research ni, even if you get a small number, if you can justify well, I think it's good enough. So even kalau Azira kata 150, saya rasa tidak perlu you nak dah cukup tu 150 tu. And it can it can reflect kepada kawasan-kawasan yang lain. Sebab you kata 150 orang itu berasal daripada kawasan-kawasan yang prone banjir. Alright, ada soalan.
Okay, terima kasih doktor.
Alright. Lilis.
Ya doktor. Okey, saya nak tanya rintitan daripada soalan Azira tadi. Okey, si katalah 150 tadi responden. Lepas tu diorang ni jawab tak lengkap. Kan macam ada yang tak jawab lah, lepas tu ada yang skip yang so daripada dah lah tak banyak lepas tu so macam mana doktor, kita nak buang or is there a way where we can analyze juga data tu?
Okay. Pernah tak you buat soalan dalam department awak CNC tu? Kalau ada orang nak naik pangkat dalam department kan dia akan bagi soalan CNC tu kan? Saya tak ingat CNC tu apa yang
Ada.
Congeniality.
Okey, sebutan tu lah. Kan ada satu soalan yang reverse, perasan tak?
Ada dua soalan.
Ada soalan. So that is a method yang you harus letak dalam your survey untuk pastikan yang seseorang itu menjawab soalan tu dengan betul.
Okay.
That is a method. So that method, ini belum jawab soalan you lagi, tapi that is a method untuk pastikan orang membaca soalan awak. So jawapan dia, kalau dia kata no, dia jawapan tu dia kena terbalikkan lah. Okay. So untuk menjawab soalan ini, if the person jawab tak full atau jawab halfway atau tak betul jawapan dia, maka you kena buang juga. There is no way that you can include that. You can include that as your descriptive analysis, but for your analysis yang betul ni, you cannot include that. Memang tak boleh. Because bila you nak include analysis tu, you kena dapatkan jawapan atau responden yang betul-betul buat semuanya. So kalau Azira kata 150, that means dia kena target dalam 200 macam tu. Dia kena assume akan ada outliers, akan ada orang-orang yang yes, no, macam tu je semua.
Okay, kalau tak cukup tu kena tambah lah doktor ya?
Kalau tak cukup tu kena tambah lah. Tetapi kan, selalu saya pernah berdepan dengan masalah ini. In my PhD, I had about 30 questions. Okay, each question saya ada skala lah. Saya buat skala 1 to 5. 1 tu paling teruk, 5 tu paling hebat lah. Okay, and my respondents ialah orang-orang yang bekerja dalam IT, dalam bidang IT yang kata orang kerja virtually lah. Okay, that was my respondents. So total number of respondents saya dapat, total jumlah orang yang menjawab soalan survey saya adalah dalam 250 orang. Tetapi nasib saya kurang baik. Daripada 250 orang ni, I only got 110 sahaja yang betul-betul boleh pakai. Maksudnya yang baki lagi 100 tu jawab halfway, jawab tak betul. So based on my 110, I did my research lah. I did my analysis. So bila time dapat komen pada examiner, mereka menyatakan mereka cuba cakap lah, how do I justify 150 is good enough? So I had to do some extra reading to come up with a reason kenapa saya kata 110 ini cukup. Okay, so I had to show them journals, articles dengan buku yang mengatakan bahawa lebih daripada 100 is good enough. Sebab banyak walaupun dalam buku statistik mengatakan bahawa perlu ada lebih banyak ni punya responden, tapi saya terpaksa menyatakan kepada mereka yang there is no standard, kata tak ada standard lagi yang mengatakan bahawa perlu ada banyak ni punya this number of respondents. Yang setakat saya jumpa ialah kalau ada responden, make sure lebih pada 100. Itu je saya jumpa. Walaupun buku statistik yang paling famous pun mengatakan bahawa satu soalan 5 orang lah this and that, tapi setakat yang saya jumpa, most of my respondents dia kata lebih pada 100 is good enough. Lebih pada 100 is good enough. Because it's impossible. You nak cari lebih pada 200 pun impossible. Mungkin boleh cari, kalau online, zaman online ni boleh cari. Tapi nak dapatkan 200 jawapan 200 yang hebat, yang cantik, it's quite impossible. Susah nak cari tu. And kalau ada 30 soalan, katakanlah satu soalan setengah minit. So that's about 15 minutes tau. 15 minutes. Itu tak termasuk deskriptif, nak tulis nama lah, this and that semua. So 20 minit. You nak dapatkan 20 minit punya punya orang nak jawab responden, you payah juga tu. That's going to be very tricky. Awal tu boleh lah kan. Dia boleh jawab. Masuk soalan 5, 6 tu, bantai yes lah. Sama juga macam CNC kita kan. I have to be very frank lah kan. Awal tu yes, kita baca kan. Macam soalan, macam kita selalu buat untuk ILD tu, adakah kursus ini memang tu? Yes. Masuk second page tu, aku nak jam latihan je. Macam tu lah. That's how, that's how it is lah. Okay? I hope I answer your question. Alright. So kita akan berhenti untuk seketika, about 10 minutes. So now is 9:08. Kita akan sambung balik dalam 9:20. Okay?
Okay, Doktor.
Alright, see you back in 9:20.
Baik, Doktor. Thank you.
Alright.